Okay, sir, Anil sir, can we start now, sir?
Good morning to the speaker of the day, Dr. V. Bhishma, and all the construction professionals who have logged in uh, today for this interesting lecture on NDT applications in civil engineering by Dr. V. Bhishma. So we welcome you, sir, the speaker of the day. Let me just, before giving to the speaker, let me introduce him. Dr. V. Bhishma is presently working as Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, University College of Engineering, Osmania University, Hyderabad. He obtained his MTech Structural Engineering from JNTU, Hyderabad, and PhD Structural Engineering from Osmania University. He has 23 years of teaching and research experience in civil engineering. His research areas include analysis and design of reinforced cement concrete, composite materials, concrete technology, solid mechanics, bridge engineering, structural design, advanced reinforced concrete design, pre-stressed concrete, infrastructure engineering, earthquake engineering, repair and rehabilitation of structures. I am sure that with the kind of diverse interest that Dr. Bhishma has, he is the right person to in fact share with us about the various nuances on the non-destructive test in concrete structures, or how NDT can be applied in civil engineering. Today is the 29th webinar, which is being organized by Ramco Cements, wherein we are bringing experts from diverse areas, from various parts of the country, from Orissa, West Bengal, Kerala, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. We had speakers over the last few days, and the basic objective of having this is to ensure that we are in tune with the development that is taking place, and various kinds of ideas must come to our mind so that we would be able to further enhance the quality of construction, as well as understand the evaluation, the testing methods, the various materials that goes into concrete, the various factors that influences the construction sector. We had a couple of general talks also, specifically on macroeconomics like smart cities, and then we had a talk on how the construction industry can see opportunities in this pandemic, especially the thing that has come about, and we need to see how we can overcome that. That is very important, because resilience is the key. So we had a talk on that. We also had a talk on ready-mix concrete. So that's it about the various webinars that we had. Ramco Cements, as all of you know who have logged in, is an organization we started in the 1960s, and we had been in the cement manufacturing since then. A lot of innovative technologies has been introduced in the various stages of manufacturing process, right from mining till packing. You can see our surface miners, which is environmental friendly, which has been in our cement plants. Then from there, you could also see the vertical roller mill, wherein we have ensured that the particle size distribution of cement is controlled. So based on all this, and because of the interaction with the construction professionals, we have been able to bring 12 varieties of cement, which is as per the concrete requirement. So what our technical service engineers does is that we try to understand the concrete requirements through a questionnaire as to how much slump is required for concrete, how much strength is required for concrete, where is it being used, what is the kind of exposure conditions, and what is the kind of chemical admixtures that is being used. After studying the various parameters at site, we recommend the right type of cement. So our concept of right product for right application we have been trying to educate the construction professionals of that. And you would see that we not only manufacture one type of cement, even in blended cements, we manufacture Portland Pozzolana cement, Portland slag cement, and apart from this, we have the ordinary Portland cement 43, 53 grade, the sulfate resistant cement, and we also have a special type of cement, the Ramco Superfast, which is specifically used for precast applications. And number of precast units across all our areas have been using it, and they have been able to get the benefit of faster removal of mold, as well as the production time can be decreased, the cycle time, what we call it, and they are also able to get the increased number of blocks. So from an economical perspective, from a technical perspective, we have been able to fulfill the requirements of the customer. So in this regard, as all of us know, that it is not only the quality of materials, but the practices, but the testing methods, what kind of testing methods are we adopting is very important. Now today's talk on NDT, as all of us know, it is not the test alone that is important. Even the analysis and interpretation of results is a challenge, and it needs expert hands. So that is where this topic of today gains significance, importance. Although the NDT test has been there for decades, there is a lot of misconceptions in the mind of the construction professionals. Whether rebound hammer test, what kind of results it is giving, how do we interpret it, rather than telling whether it is accurate or not, how do we interpret it, how do we analyze those results, how do we analyze the UPV test results. So like this, we have number of tests on strength and durability. And one most important thing that we have seen is that it is an interdisciplinary area. You will find that studies from electrical, this thing, magnetic, or for that matter, X-rays, gamma rays is being used for NDT testing. And that is really very interesting. So I am sure that today's talk will have number of takeaways, and our speaker, Dr. Bhikshma sir, would enlighten us on the various NDT applications. So welcome you, sir, and over to you. You can share your presentation with us. The share content is already live. You can click on it, and over to you, sir. Welcome to this 29th webinar organized by Ramco Cements. Welcome.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you so much for introducing me. So, good morning, all of you. Good morning, all of you. Am I audible? Hello.
Good morning. You are audible, sir. Very much audible. You can go on.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Suraj
much.
Kumar ji and Anil Kumar ji and Karthikeyan ji, the Ramco Cement Group. So I am very much thankful for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts on NDT applications in civil engineering. So this presentation will also have some case study. Okay, what is NDT? How to do NDT? How we can analyze the results, as you said, NDT, such things I'll be explaining in this presentation. So first of all, I want to ask you, audience, why NDT is actually, what for NDT we conduct. And I don't expect answers from you, because I'll be asking question to you and I'll be answering in between. So not to have disturbance in between. So why NDT we will conduct? NDT we will conduct because we want to know quality of the concrete, and we would like to know whether our structure or a concrete structure which is made is good quality wise or not. We want to ensure ourselves, for which we conduct NDT. Or otherwise, if you get a doubt on a structure where you have constructed a newly concrete, or a concrete is a old concrete, if you see some symptoms on that, then we would like to know whether the health of the structure is good or not. Health of the structure is good or not means whether the quality and strength of the concrete is good or not. We want to ensure ourselves. Then only we can handle that particular structure for future service or for future benefit of ourselves. So in this regard, I want to explain to you certain things, theory, before I go for the NDT methods. Why NDT is required? Just now I asked you. NDT is required to know strength of the concrete, quality of the concrete, and whether the strength and quality both are working together. We want to ensure. If strength and durability is not there, strength and quality is not there, for example, then what could be the reason behind that? We want to know that, for which we need to conduct NDT. NDT means non-destructive test. So NDT means non-destructive test. Without disturbing the structure, we want to know its situation, whether the existing structure is good or not, or is having any problem. We want to know, for which we will conduct NDT actually. To conduct this NDT, we can have a plain concrete, or we can have a reinforced concrete, we can have a gravity surface concrete, we can have a road surface concrete, we can have a buildings, we can have any special structures, we can have even low grade concrete, high grade concrete, any type of concrete for which we conduct NDT. But one condition is that we can conduct the NDT only for cement concrete, not for lime mortar type of concrete or some other concrete. We can conduct only for cement concrete. So NDT is applicable only for cement concrete. And to conduct the NDT, first of all, we should know the mixed design. Actually, mixed design is done properly for the concrete or not, we should ensure first. If mixed design is not good, then we cannot blame the concrete. Okay, so your mixed design itself is not good. Therefore, definitely concrete quality will be poor. So first of all, ensure ourselves that our mixed design is good. So therefore, we have to first do mixed design. To do mixed design, we know all the cases for selecting the parameters in mixed design. Mixed design can be low grade concrete, it can be high grade concrete. The mixed design can be with fly ash, mixed design can be without fly ash, mixed design can be with fiber concrete, polymer concrete, lightweight concrete. It can be with any concrete. So we have to ensure first that our mixed design should be good. And not only that, structural deficiencies in poor concrete also one should know. To conduct NDT, why we are conducting NDT? When some defect is there, we are going to conduct NDT. What is the some defect? Suppose a crack is there on structure. Then if crack is there, the structure is going to survive in future properly or not, we get a doubt. Then in that case, you can go for NDT. Not only that, your cracks, why cracks are coming on the structure? Cracks may be due to high heat of hydration. Cracks may be due to improper compaction. Cracks may be due to improper ingredients of the concrete. There are several reasons for that, but first of all, we should see that we should not have a deficiency concrete. We should have a perfect concrete. To have a perfect concrete, we too have a perfect cement, good quality cement. Okay, and why cracks normally will come? People will say with cement. It is not only with cement, it is with some other things also. What are the cracks with some other things? That is nothing but maybe low size of the fine aggregate with which shrinkage cracks will come. Maybe with design also cracks may become, your deflection is not properly designed for a particular beam. Therefore, a crack may come. There are several reasons for that. Due to defective analysis, due to defective design, due to defective material, improper mixed design, there are several reasons for cracks actually. Due to lack of proper factor of safety also sometimes will not be maintained properly, due to which also cracks may come. Other reasons for poor quality concrete may be OPC cement, maybe PPC cement. Why OPC cement with which crack will come? Because OPC cement will have high heat of hydration. High heat of hydration leads to cracks, and PPC also sometimes cracks will come because your percentage of the ordinary Portland cement and PPC, that is 75% and 25% we say normally optimum dosage. Suppose if your PPC percentage is too much, then there is a possibility of getting again cracks. So we should think what is the optimum dosage for that and think about it and then use for our concrete after making several trials. High strength concrete also, due to high excess cement, cracks will come. Low grade concrete, due to low percentage of cement, again bulging takes place due to improper setting. Then several reasons for the cracks again we can say, and poor quality of concrete. Defects in poor quality concrete may be raw material, maybe mixed design, preparation of concrete, transportation, formwork, placing, compaction, curing and finishing. There are several reasons for getting poor quality of concrete. Then what we should do actually? How we should control this? Some of you can ask me a question that, sir, to control the quality, there are several measures now. We have ready mix concrete, we have good quality cement, all these things are there. Why again the poor quality is coming? That is in our hand again. Selection of the material is very, very important. Doing mixed design is very, very important. Selection of cement is very, very important. Knowing the high excess cement in the concrete is very, very important. Because nowadays we are all moving towards PPC cement. Why? Because your heat of hydration can be controlled. To control heat of hydration, we are moving towards PPC cement. Really, OPC cement is having problem, heat of hydration problem. So all these things one should understand. Not only that, ingredients of the material and the reasons all should know. Then only we can able to control the cracks and then all the problems in concrete. Sir, your presentation is on NDT. Why are you explaining all this? You can think in between, but as an engineer, we should know all these. Then only we can think of NDT, because when we are going to conduct the NDT, reason you should know why crack should have come. And if I can able to conduct the NDT for a cracked surface, what sort of results I am going to get? These sort of understanding, these sort of knowledge is required for an engineer to know proper interpretation of the NDT results. That's the reason why we should know all this. Crack symptoms due to poor quality concrete, maybe sometimes tensile force, shear force, initiation of crack due to diagonal stresses, then vertical cracks, diagonal cracks, all these may be. Yeah, possibility of cracks, concrete cracks due to shrinkage, due to wall junction, beam column junctions, where proper condition is not being maintained. Similarly, column infill panels, distinguishing features, internal loading, etc. will be there on that, and because of that, cracks will come. Distortion of cracks due to force, combination of force, shear cracks, tensile cracks, yeah, variability of materials, non-uniformity of the mix design, quality control, maintenance, all these reasons. And dampness is because of permeability, dampness is because of fine and coarse aggregate. Sometimes we think that good cement we use, good concrete we use, but still dampness will be coming from some place for a newly constructed building also. We think that everything is done correct, engineer executed well, curing is done perfectly, materials is used perfectly, mix design is done perfectly. Why again the leakage is coming? These sort of doubt we get it, but something is gone wrong there. What is that something? Not cement. Cement is good, but fine aggregate grading has not been done correctly, because of which micro cracks will form, and through micro cracks water goes, and if water goes there, dampness prevails there. If dampness prevails there, definitely there will be a permeability. With that permeability, your concrete media becomes very weak, and then it becomes a catastrophic failure at some point of time. That is the reason why we should care all these, then only we can understand perfectly. Nowadays, actually, the cement and all other materials coming in the market are good, but only thing is other ingredients are causing problem. We are not able to maintain sand grading properly. What should be the sand grading? What should be the sand grading actually? Sand should be 2.8 to 3.2 approximately, fineness modulus. But that fineness modulus is not being maintained. Therefore, cracks will come. Therefore, if more fine sand is there, what happens? Plastic shrinkage cracks will come. Okay, more fine sand leads to plastic shrinkage cracks. More coarse sand leads to permeability. Both the problems are there. It means fineness modulus is not being maintained. We blame the cement. There is no fault with cement, but it is a fault with material. Which material? Fine aggregate material. Sometimes coarse aggregate material. All these things we should understand and then use it actually. Characterization of concrete is also very, very important. Mechanical properties one should know. So compressive strength, splitting tensile strength, flexural strength, sustain characteristics, we should know all these. Then only we can understand. So why I am explaining all this actually? So these are basic fundamentals that we need to know. Why cracks are coming, why problem is coming for structures, and right, those are some of the reasons actually. And we want to know NDT techniques for concrete structures. What are the NDT techniques that we have to control all these cracks, to control all these permeability? Yeah, quality is not there, means something is happening to the structure. How we can know that? We should not destroy the structure. We should not disturb the structure. Without disturbing, without demolishing, without doing harm to the existing structure, we need to assess it. We need to know reasons for it, and after knowing the reason, we have to do something for it. We are not feeling easy. For example, we go to doctor. Doctor will diagnose and tell the problem of our human health. Then accordingly we will take medicine and we will try to make it cure. Similarly, structure, what happened to the structure we don't know, but some leakage is there, some cracks are coming. Why these cracks are coming, why these leakages are coming, we don't know, but we want to do something for it because now it is suffering. Okay, it should not suffer further. Not to suffer further, we need to go for NDT, non-destructive test. Without disturbing the structure, we need to do. And how many methods are there in that actually? I'll also tell you those methods. Before that, types of concretes are fresh concrete and hardened concrete. Okay, fresh concrete and hardened concrete. Hardened concrete can have for existing bridges, buildings, existing columns, beams, slabs of anything, buildings or bridges or anything, existing dam structures, piers, spillways, any RCC structures for which we can conduct NDT. But NDT we cannot conduct for fresh concrete. NDT we cannot conduct for fresh concrete. What is fresh concrete? It is just made concrete. Just made concrete for which NDT cannot be conducted. It is like a baby concrete. Baby cannot do herself any service. Okay, only we have to do it service to the concrete. Baby cannot do the service for herself. So therefore, for baby concrete, we cannot conduct NDT. We can conduct NDT only for hardened concrete, already set concrete, existing buildings, already set concrete. After 28 days, you can conduct NDT. And why you are conducting NDT? I told you some of the reasons, cracks and all this. Sometimes NDT we can conduct if your building is very old building. Your building is very old building. You want to go for one more floor on that building. And it is a 50 years old building. 50 years old building, you don't have drying, nothing, but it looks better, but you don't know whether it is having proper strength or not. You conduct NDT, you get the quality, strength, all these parameters, and if you think that the quality is good and strength is good, you can go for another floor. Otherwise, you cannot go. If minimum strength is not there, minimum quality parameters are not there, you cannot go for extension of one more floor. Or NDT when we go, suppose the leakage is there, very severe leakages are there. Severe leakages cannot be controlled. So what we should do, we should conduct NDT and we should know whether minimum strength is there for that to repair. Okay. Concrete is subjected to leakage, concrete is subjected to, cracks, then we need to do something. When we want to do something, we need to do something, we have to actually think so many parameters here. So many parameters here. So that's the reason why we need to go the NDT only for hardened concrete, not for fresh concrete. So necessity for NDT, need for NDT. Yeah, necessity for NDT is to know approximate grade of concrete. We want to know approximate strength of concrete. We want to know ingredients of the concrete. We want to know quality of the materials used, durability of the concrete for existing structures, bearing capacity of the concrete for service loads. So we want to know what is the strength of the concrete. We want to know what is the grade of concrete, because the concrete is already given to some structure where cracks are coming, where proper strength is not there and deflection is being formed, for which we want to assess whether the concrete is going to have proper quality in that particular structure or not. We want to know, for which we want to conduct NDT. Okay, so need for the NDT is to know strength of concrete, grade of strength almost same. Ingredients of the concrete material, we want to know ingredients. What are the fine aggregate, coarse aggregate that is being used, we want to know. We want to know quality materials, durability of concrete, existing structures, bearing capacity of the concrete. Sometimes we can do for that actually. So NDT tests. What are different NDT tests that we have now? Different NDT tests that we have are ultrasonic pulse velocity test, mid-rebound hammer test, core cutting test, infrared thermographic camera, ground penetrating radar, etc. These are all the tests, different test methods that are available in our civil engineering to know its quality, to know its durability, to know its status of the concrete actually. Ultrasonic pulse velocity. Ultrasonic pulse velocity, gives what? Schmidt rebound hammer. This method gives what? Core cutting test. This gives what? Infrared thermographic camera. This gives what? Ground penetrating radar. These are all comes under NDT, non-destructive test. Without disturbing the structure, we want to assess its quality. So first one is ultrasonic pulse velocity. Ultrasonic pulse velocity means we can get quality from this. Quality of the concrete. Rebound hammer, strength of the concrete. What is the quality of the concrete and what is the strength of the concrete? Quality of the concrete and strength of concrete are different actually. Can anybody say quality and strength both are same? Hello? Can anybody see quality and strength both are same? Hello, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, quality and strength both are same or they are different?
I think many of the audience will not be able to talk. They will only be able to chat actually.
Okay,
They can just
at the end we will ask questions. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, sir. Thank
they
you.
can put a message if suppose some of them are saying it is different.
Yeah.
Sir, quality and strength are different is one of the responses that we have got.
Yeah. Okay. So
These are some of the responses.
yes, quality and strength both are different, sir. Actually, they are not same. So quality and strength both are different. They are not same. Quality is nothing but suppose a concrete quality is not there, means some leakage is there, but it is not falling. Strength is there, but quality is not there. That is the reason why strength and quality both are not same. They are different. Okay, so with ultrasonic pulse velocity, we find quality. Rebound hammer test with which we find strength. And in these two tests, this is meant for quality, this is meant for strength. Then core cutting test is meant for again strength. Infrared thermographic camera with which we get result is nothing but again for quality. Ground penetrating radar is also we get quality. So this is quality, and this is quality. These two tests are for strength. Suppose in a particular rebound hammer, we are not able to get strength properly. At 3 locations, you have taken rebound hammer strength. But 3 locations, whatever strength you got is not reliable strength. Then we don't convince that this strength is not a reliable one. Then we go for a core cutting, semi-destructive test to confirm that. To confirm the rebound hammer, we will go for core cutting. Okay, when we get a doubtful result with rebound hammer, we go for core cutting test. This is called semi-destructive test. I can tell you one example. Suppose a doctor is not able to identify a human problem and that patient is continuously undergoing treatment. On one fine day, a doctor asks a patient, if you don't mind, I'll cut some flesh from your body and send to superior laboratory because I am not able to get the problem of your body. With permission of patient, he will cut some flesh and send to some superior laboratory. On one fine day, he get a result that I am very sorry, you have cancer. This is how in one test, if it is not confirmed, we go for next test. So this is how continuously NDT will be done for concrete structures. So I will tell you all these methods and equipments and how they are useful, where they are useful, how we can conduct and all. So please remember as an engineer, because we are all professional engineers, which method is useful for which type of concrete and which type of surfaces. And suppose ultrasonic pulse velocity is there, this is meant for what? Quality only. Rebound hammer is for strength, core cutting is for strength, infrared thermographic camera is for quality, ground penetrating radar is for again quality. So broadly, as an engineer, as a professional engineer, we should know this is meant for what, this is meant for what. Tomorrow somebody may ask you, ultrasonic pulse velocity gives what result, sir? A junior fellow will ask you tomorrow, then you must be able to tell. Ultrasonic pulse velocity will not give you strength. Ultrasonic pulse velocity will give you only quality. So therefore, quality and strength is different. So this is how we can understand. So we will see one by one. Ultrasonic pulse velocity. Ultrasonic pulse velocity means what I told you just now. It is meant for only quality. Quality. So how we are going to analyze the quality, I will tell you now. This is the equipment. ultrasonic pulse velocity equipment, wherein you have a electronic equipment, battery operated equipment. Batteries will work for 10 hours continuously, and you will have transducers, actually 2 electronic transducers. We apply on the concrete surface, maybe column, maybe beam, and send the velocity into the concrete. This is how, this is a Q, for example, on the equipment, and then apply the grease both the surfaces, and then you can apply both the transducers in opposite directions. So velocity travels through this media, and we get a velocity value directly will be displayed into the equipment. That is called velocity. If velocity is good or bad, or excellent or poor, we must be able to judge based on our professional codal provisions. So therefore velocity we can find like this. This is direct method and indirect methods are there in this. This is indirect method, and back one is direct method. For beams and columns you can use direct methods. For slabs we cannot use direct method, because both the hand we cannot keep for one hand from the top and other hand from the bottom. We cannot keep because slab is there, no? So for slab surfaces we can use this indirect method. This is how we can use NDT, okay, for ultrasonic. And whatever I am saying, ultrasonic pulse velocity is not myself blah blah blah. It is according to the code IS 13311 part 1 1992. Direct method and indirect method. Direct methods in which pulse velocity will be introduced into the concrete media in the opposite direction. Then indirect method we can use in same surfaces. So finally the whole description is not necessary for us. Final result is necessary for us. Velocity is equal to distance by time. Velocity V is equal to L by T or D by T. This is the interpretation of your this is indirect method I told you, and this is a very very important chart which is required for us. Okay, velocity criterion for concrete quality grading means velocity of the cross probing. If your value of velocity is distance by time, kilometer per second, if your value of velocity is 4.5, it is excellent quality. If your velocity is 3.5 to 4.5, good quality. 3 to 3.5, medium quality. And then below 3 is doubtful. So therefore we can have this chart so that we can understand what is our quality of the concrete. Suppose on a particular surface your quality is now 3, is doubtful, 3 to 3.5 is medium. You are trying to go for one more floor and your value is getting 3 to 3.5 medium and doubtful. Then how can you take a decision to go for another floor? It is very difficult for you to go for another floor because your values that you got is medium and doubtful. If you would have got the value of 4.5 and 3.5 to 4.5 and above, excellent, good, it would have not been a problem for you. But you got the values of 3 to 3.5 and 3, which are medium and doubtful. You have to definitely go for another alternative method, that is compressive strength, and if necessary core cutting, you have to do it. If you get excellent value, then you can take a decision immediately. When you get a doubtful result, then we can go for a next alternative method. That is nothing but I always tell that if you go to a doctor, when you are suffering with fever, we go to a doctor and doctor gives some medicine, we come back and use the medicine. After 3 days again we go there, okay, and if your problem is solved, no problem. Otherwise you go again to the doctor, and if your problem second time is also not solved by the doctor, you go to another doctor. This is how alternative things that you can think. We can do all these, and then we can take a decision on that. Actually, this is nothing but if you get a doubtful case, you go to next test, alternative test. If you get a exact value of 4.5 and 3 to 3.5, good and excellent, not necessary. This is how your ultrasonic pulse velocity will give you the reading. Based on that reading, you can take a decision: excellent, good, medium, and doubtful. If you get these two, no problem. If you get these two, you go for next alternative method for confirming yourself. This is nothing but rebound hammer. You have a rebound hammer, okay, you can apply onto the concrete surface. So rebound value will be presented here. Yeah, this is the rebound. And this is again IS 13311 part 2, rebound hammer on concrete surfaces. We can apply on any direction. We can use 7 MPa strength for a free member. Okay, and your rebound hammer values may be plus or minus 25% variation will be there because of heterogeneity of the concrete. At one place you have mortar, at another place you have a aggregate, and another place you have a some fine aggregate. So rebound effect will be different for different, different your medias of concrete. Then we can go for core cutting. Suppose in ultrasonic pulse velocity you get doubtful value, and in compressive strength rebound hammer values from which you get only 10 to 12 MPa strength. Then again you, in both the cases you got doubt now. Now what you will do, you will go for another alternative, that is semi-destructive test, that is core cutting. And cores can be extracted from these members: beams, columns, slabs, bridges, bridge girders, bridge slabs. You can extract the cores from any member, any of these members, and you can confirm the results, compressive strength results. Core should not disturb the steel. When you cut the core, your core should not be disturb the steel, main steel. Core should be identified with the help of profometer. We want to cut the core from the concrete. At the same time, we should not disturb the steel inside. Okay, the slab for which your transverse reinforcement you can cut, no problem. But for columns, main reinforcement if you cut, because your column is subjected to axial load, taking lot of load, and if main reinforcement is subjected to disturbance, then there will be a problem. That is the reason why we should identify where the bar is not there. There only we should cut the core. And to identify the bar inside the concrete member, we have a instrument called profometer. We have an instrument called profometer. Okay, that is profometer with which we can identify that, and then we can do that. This is the core cutting equipment wherein different diameters can be selected. Okay, 150 mm diameter, 75 mm diameter can be selected, and we can cut the core. This is how, at the one case study I am going to present to you for 5-10 minutes. Okay, we are cutting a core on a column. He is my technician actually. He is cutting a core on a column to know the concrete quality. Okay, we can cut the core in horizontal direction if it is slab, vertical direction. In any direction we can do that, and we can take the cores from your different members in this fashion. These are the cores taken from different members. After you cut the core, you keep it on some member, and then you try to put phenolphthalein solution on the core. The moment you put phenolphthalein drops onto your core, the core turns out to be pink. This indicates that your concrete inside is not being deteriorated. Inside the concrete is not corrupted. Inside the concrete is not attacked with sulfate attack, chloride attack. It is a physical indication that if color is turning out to be pink, it is assumed that concrete quality is okay. Concrete quality is good. If this color is not turning out to be pink, it is assumed that your concrete is disturbed. Your concrete is having sulfate attack, chloride attack, and all this. We can do these physical tests primarily, and then we can cap the cores, top and bottom, with 1:3 cement mortar, cure for 7 days, keep it under compression testing machine, apply the load. Load by area is your stress. That is how compressive strength exactly we can get it. Okay. This is the core again, which I shown you. And profometer is there for knowing your concrete inside bar. I told you earlier that this is the profometer. Column concrete, we can cut a core for column. At the same time, your bar should not be subjected to disturbance. So we can put the profometer on the machine. This is a dialog box. Horizontally, vertically, we can scroll on the column, and then we can locate where the bar is there. Wherever bars are not there, there only we can able to we can able to cut the core, decide that area and then cut the core so that you cannot disturb the axial column load will not be disturbed, and your column will not be subjected to any problem. So you cannot cut the reinforcement if you can able to identify with this profometer inside the bar. This is corrosion analyzer. This is again another NDT, corrosion analyzer. And this, if some reinforcing bars are exposed outside, we can touch this with this equipment, on the equipment. This can tell you the diameter of the bar. Similarly, the corrosion percentage, how much is being corroded there, what is the percentage of corrosion that is being taken place in the slab. We can identify that, and we can interpret, and then we can take a decision whether the bar is to be removed or bar is to be painted. Such a decision we can take. This is called corrosion analyzer, NDT equipment again. And this is very interesting actually. This is not like our UPV, ultrasonic pulse velocity, rebound hammer, and your other core cutting. This is entirely different. Infrared thermographic camera to know the inside quality of the concrete, water leakages, corrosion of the steel, magnitude of the concrete corrosion, roof leakages through concrete, and several things we can know from infrared thermographic camera. What is this equipment? How it looks like? This equipment is this actually. This is called infrared thermographic camera. This is also a battery operated equipment. 10 to 12 hours the camera can work if you can charge the batteries. And this camera will focus for a longer distance. Up to 3 kilometers this camera can focus. Okay. In concrete surface, if you can focus, this camera can tell you the concrete media is safe, concrete media is really corroded with the steel or not. It can tell you. Suppose a moisture surface of the concrete is there. What does it mean? Moisture is there means some alkali aggregate reaction is started inside the concrete. That is our understanding, right? So therefore, how much intensity of the alkali aggregate reaction is there inside, how much percentage of corrosion must have been taken, and what is the concrete area that is being covered inside, this camera can easily tell us. Based on that one, we can take a decision. And this camera specifically not for civil engineering applications, can be used for other engineering applications also. For example, electrical engineers are there, they have turbines. Turbines will be working 24 hours, 365 days continuously. When turbine is working 365 days, 24 hours, turbine will be subjected to heavy heat. Sometimes turbine can fail. So these cameras focus on control temperature or not, we can detect. If temperature is exceeding, we can take a decision and we can stop the turbine. Sanitary pipe. A 5-storied building is there, your sanitary pipe is continuously because of leakage of the pipe, and where the pipe has leaked we don't know. Sometimes we will not be knowing where pipe has leaked. Then in that case, you can focus along the pipeline. This camera can tell you exactly where the pipe is leaked. That portion only you can open it up and then you can repair immediately. So this is the advantage of this camera. And the mechanical engineers also will use this. Civil engineers also will use this. This camera is a very, very powerful camera. It can give you the vision up to, even military engineering people will use this camera. If you can stand on Birla Temple or any height place and focus 2 to 3 kilometers, it can give you vision actually. What is happening around? The military people will use this military operations. So this is the very, very important powerful camera which can be used in civil engineering applications as NDT. Another view of infrared thermographic camera. And then the last one is your ground penetrating radar. Ground where we can use ground history. This is a ground analyzer. Soil history can be known, rock history can be known, reinforcement can be known. This is a simple ground penetrating equipment where you can have a small motherboard here, computerized motherboard, where the whole data can be captured. Suppose your flooring is there and you have a slab on which flooring is there. What is the thickness of the flooring? You don't know. And what is the reinforcement that is there in the slab? Sometimes you want to know. For which you can just scroll on your surface of the flooring, then flooring thickness, then your slab thickness, your slab reinforcement details, everything you can know. This is called ground analyzer, ground penetrating radar. This is in several civil engineering applications. We can use this, a particular ground penetrating radar. Suppose at some place your bridge pier is settled, buckled rather. So you never know whether it is a design of a pier problem or a design of a footing problem. Footing will be there inside the ground, right? Footing will be there inside the ground, and if you can make neat surface around the pier and just scroll around the pier, this ground penetrating radar can give you whether the footing size is proper or improper. This can tell you. This failure is because of footing or this failure is because of some other. These sort of things, without excavation, without doing anything, we can know the reasons. This is called ground penetrating radar. Suppose you want to excavate for a tunnel. So inside the ground, you never know whether rock is there, moram soil is there, block cotton soil is there, clay soil is there. You want to estimate it. You cannot estimate just like that. And prior to your estimation, if you can use this ground penetrating radar and scroll on your ground, then you can know what is the history of the soil. You can know. Based on that one, you can easily understand and you can easily estimate your estimations properly. And this ground penetrating radar is having actually resolutions, 2-meter resolutions, 3-meter resolutions, 4-meter resolutions, up to which we can scan the ground and we can know the ground history. This is 3-meter scan and this is 5-meter scan. Up to 5 meters we can scan the ground. Up to 5 meters we can scan the ground and we can know ground history. This is called ground penetrating radar. We are not excavating the ground. We are trying to know what will be there in the ground. The rock is there, moram soil is there, clay is there. It is easy for excavation or it is hard for excavation. So that type of history we can obtain from the ground so that we can easily make the estimation. This is called ground penetrating radar. Now another 10 minutes I will spare on this case study. Okay, very interesting actually. This case study is again a fire accident happened to the Pushpanjali complex. That is very interesting, and we did consultancy work from Osmania University. This is a case study. Pushpanjali complex, a 9-storied building in the busy commercial zone of Hyderabad, revenged a fire on 5th February 2006. The complex caught fire early in the morning at 6 o'clock. Fire was confined to the first and ground floors. New shops storing combustible materials such as cloths and books were gutted. It means this particular case study I am going to explain to you, fire accident building. Fire accident happened morning at 6 o'clock, early morning 6 o'clock, and that is a commercial building actually. You can see very interesting here. This is a commercial building exactly opposite to Koti Medical College. This is a commercial building exactly opposite to Koti Medical College, Pushpanjali complex. Morning at 6 o'clock, fire accident happened in the building because combustible material was dumped at the escalator inside the building. All the cloth merchant shops and commercial shutters were there around the building, but inside near the escalator, thermocol was dumped, and from the thermocol there was an electricity short circuit, and fire got intensified inside the building at morning at 6 o'clock. Because all shops will open at 10 or 10:30, because it is commercial building. But this accident happened morning at 6 o'clock. And after the fire, nobody is able to go inside the building, and fire got intensified inside. And there was a famous cloth merchant shop, that is Amardeep Cloth Merchant Shop in 4th floor. So all the combustible material gutted inside the building, and the building situation was like this. Why I am telling all this? Because we analyzed the NDT applications we have used for this building, and we have given retrofitting scheme also. The building is in service now. So therefore, the firefighters came, and they are all trying to stop the fire for the building, but not able to go inside because all shutters and doors were closed. They are trying to spray the water from outside only. So this was the fire intensity. And after fire is stopped, then they approached Usmania University, and my Professor Prakash Rao was the head of the department, civil engineering. I was assistant professor at that point of time. So myself and Professor Prakash Rao, we went to the building because the House Owners Welfare Association people, they have called us for investigation whether building is going to be safe or it is unsafe. Okay, as you have seen the pictures backside, so up to 4, 5, this is total 9-storied building. 5th, 6th floor up, the inside all the concrete members were damaged, and a fire was like this. And then we went there, and we have investigated the building, and I can show you some of the columns were crumbled like this. Some of the columns were crumbled like this. These are the pictures. The shutters were broken with JCB in this manner. Okay, and this is the situation of the building after fire. Okay, what we have done for this building then? We have asked them to give support first to the building, because one side of the building is only damaged severely, other side of the building is not damaged severely. Some of the 18 columns were crumbled. Almost 60 to 65 columns are there for this building. In that, 18 to 20 columns were completely crumbled. Okay, alternatively, then we told them immediately to give the support to this building. Okay, they have given support. After that, you can see some of the columns were crumbled like this, but here fire is not there. The beauty of our discussion here is, here fire flames are not there, their column is crumbled. Fire flames are not there, their column is crumbled. Here complete fire is there, column is not crumbled. Okay, this is fully contrary to the other columns, right? So this is because of actually some disturbance outside. Okay, with JCB hit and all, the columns were disturbed. Okay, with JCB hits and all, columns were disturbed. Because all shutters were closed now. With JCB they are trying to break the shutters. In that process, a horizontal force has come and the columns were disturbed. Otherwise, some other mistakes also, you can see all the labs are at one place. This is one lab, this is another lab. And the second thing is, this is 50 years old building at that time. Now by this time, 60 years. So at that time, coarse aggregate was not much. Coarse aggregate was only man-made coarse aggregate. That is with hammer only, labor was used to make the coarse aggregate. Jaw crushers were not there. Abundant sand was there at that point of time. So the very poor concrete is there here. So, and horizontal hit with which this is disturbed, and the columns were crumbled like this. Then we are under the impression to remove the building, but owners, they requested us to do the repair scheme, because our Hyderabad is not in danger zone. Therefore, we can go for repair. We don't want to demolish the building. That was the owner's view. Therefore, we also warned them that building will not be safe in future, but they requested us to give retrofitting scheme. One by one, from ground floor to 5th floor, one by one columns were encased with 16 millimeter bar and 75 millimeter concrete around with special concrete. Okay, they made, and then all the columns were strengthened, from loose debris were removed, and all the columns were strengthened, and then all the slabs also has been strengthened with the reinforcement both the sides, both the directions. and the building is retrofitted. The building is in service now, actually. So it means we have conducted NDT, and concrete NDT results we got minimum M15, M20. So with this minimum M15, M20 in this existing structure is okay. But in the earthquake, in the case of earthquake, the building will not be safe. I told them. We told them that the building will not be safe in case of earthquakes in future. They said, sir, earthquake आने के बाद देख लेंगे. Yeah, that is our responsibility. We will take care of that, and you give the retrofitting scheme. We gave the retrofitting scheme to beams, columns, granite, grouting, everything with good quality, concrete, baby chips and all were given, but shuttering was a bit difficult task. And the whole building is retrofitted now. The happiest thing is the building is in service now. So what I mean to say is, with the NDT applications, we have come to a conclusion that this can be repaired, and the building is repaired, and the building is at this moment now it is in working condition. So this is what NDT can give us a lot of inputs, a lot of dareness to do something. Otherwise, it is very difficult to take a decision. So NDT gives us reliable information. If you can do systematically, and we can really make the structures safe by retrofitting it. It means, if something happens to the building, what is our next view? If something happens to the human being, accident happens, then what next we should do? We should admit the patient into the hospital. The next doctor will take a decision what sort of treatment is to be given to the candidate. Okay, if some leg break is there, they will retrofit it. If minor injuries are there, they repair it. Yes or no? Or some other head damage is there, they will repair it. That sort of decision will be taken by the doctor. That's the reason why, being a civil engineer, all the professional colleagues, I want to tell that, if some problem comes to the building, immediately rush to the expert and seek the opinion of the expert, so that expert will tell you what is to be done. You are a civil engineer, you are like a doctor. Civil engineer means, civil engineer is also like a doctor. If any problem comes to the building, people call civil engineer. But sometimes civil engineer will not be expert in all fields. So civil engineer should run to the expert again. मुझे नहीं आया तो मैं मेरा गुरु के पास जाता हूँ. मेरा गुरु को नहीं आता है तो मेरा गुरु और एक गुरु से पूछ के मेरे को बोलता है. Connection to all people, professional colleagues, and find solutions and try to solve the problem. Civil engineering situations are very, very difficult actually. You may be a gold medalist, but some of the problems, civil engineering problems, we cannot solve unless you contact your friend, unless you take the opinion of your expert. You cannot come to a conclusion. That's the reason why people say that nowadays cement, all cements are coming very good, all good quality cement, but still cracks are coming. It is not a problem of cement. It is a problem of some other mechanism. You may be using excess cement, you're not using proper mix design. These are all other related issues are there. We have to understand that and then use. So we have to do that actually. We should understand properly first. So infrared camera, I told you for quality. The applications of all these NDT, research and development, we can do it. We can do a lot of research in that. You can understand so many things. Then all the things we can understand from NDT. Okay, what is to be done next, like that. Condition monitoring, all these things we can really do it. Okay, yeah. So these things are general things. Then after conducting the NDT, conclusion that good or quality is good, we can understand better. Quality is good. If quality is good, no problem with the strength. If quality is not good, there will be a problem with strength again. Quality is not good, slowly strength also gets reduced. Leakage is there. कुछ नहीं होता है, leakage आता ऐसा ही आता है बोलते ना. People think that leakage आ रहा है, but doesn't matter. Take very light. But leakage after 2-3 years, 4-5 years, slowly that concrete, deteriorates, and then, corrosion starts, and then, concrete falls, and all these problems. Before it comes, better we should do it retrofitting immediately. Okay, then grade and reinforcement also we should take care. Okay, protect. Then mixed proportions also we need to take correctly, correct cement, correct proportions. Now we are getting very good, blended cements and all. We are getting good quality cements are getting. If you can understand mixed design, that's all. That is good. If you don't understand mixed design properly, random mixed design, if you do it, then again your quality will not be in your hand. So everything is controlled now. Since in concrete uncontrollable situations are there, now we are very situation. But what is the controllable situation we are? Earlier we are curing concrete, watchmen were curing, and good quality concretes are coming, cements are coming now. Watchman cure morning at 6 o'clock, evening at 6 o'clock. Afternoon he will not cure because he will be somewhere, and he will not listen us because sometimes kuch bhi nahi hota hai. Morning 6, evening 6, doesn't matter. He will think, but it is not correct. Therefore, to solve these problems, self-curing concrete has come now. No, not necessary to cure. Because this problem is there, we are not able to maintain it properly. Self-curing concrete is coming. Self-compacting concrete, we are not able to really compact the concrete properly with pin vibrator, all the concrete media uniformly. Therefore, we got self-compacting concrete. All these solutions have come now. Only thing is we have to understand them and then use it properly. All the solutions are in place now in civil engineering. The only thing is we have to follow them correctly. If you can follow them correctly, it's good. Then existing RCC structure condition assessment we can do. Arrive the specific decision on stability by doing all this. So these are all the things that I thought I can share it to you. So therefore I have completed my presentation, and I invite some of the questions which are related to your NDT, your strength, your quality, etc. So Anil Kumar sir, you can just
Yes.
those questions.
Yeah. The questions are there. Thank you so much, sir, for that. Really, you have made a tough subject very simple. You have explained in a very simpler manner. With that case study, was very interesting, and a different way of looking at NDT testing. And you have thrown light on the importance of analysis, interpretation. And when you started, actually you started with the basics, which was very right, because many of the viewers were getting impatient as to when. But you have taken the right route, actually. Yeah. In fact, it was a complete this thing, because a good introduction, and where it has gone wrong. I think NDT also entails a lot of analysis, and for analysis we need to know some kind of background has to be there. So that was very good from your perspective, sir. So it was a very interesting this thing. In fact, when we also at Ramco Cements, when we interact with construction professionals, many of the professionals ask us for the solutions, when the problem arises. We also have a research center, Ramco Research Development Center at Chennai. We have also a couple of NDT tests are there. We have ultrasonic pulse velocity test is there. Rebound hammer test is there. So we also try to help from our this thing. But as you rightly said, we also, sometimes get in touch with experts. You are told about the connections, which is very important. Getting number of, inputs is much better. This thing by your side. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, in civil engineering particularly, we have to have so many connections with experts in the field.
Correct.
We shouldn't
especially
think that, I know everything. No, we know only few things.
Correct.
We should know many things from others. Then only we can gain strength in our knowledge, and we can excel in our profession.
There was a talk on repair and rehabilitation also a couple of days back, a webinar in which Engineer P. Srinivasa Reddy had talked about repair and rehabilitation. So now we can connect many of these things: repair, rehabilitation, NDT test, good concreting practices, and all. I think many of the construction will be able to connect that. That is what is very important: integrating and finding out where it is. Now, can we go to the question, sir?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
One of the questions that has been asked is actually the IS code for ultrasonic pulse velocity. There was some amendment in 2018. It is actually IS 516, part 5. That is one of the. It was there. Amendment was there, but the basic philosophy remains the same. Few changes would have
remain same. Yes, basic philosophy remains same.
So that was one of the things. So yes, there has been an amendment. It is 516 now. That is one this thing. And second, another question which has been asked, I think Engineer P. Srinivasa Reddy has posed this question. What is the difference between NDT and health monitoring and condition survey?
Okay. Health monitoring and condition survey is different because we want to physically verify condition assessment first. We physically see the structure, and then we can just visualize whether the deterioration is because of what reasons. That is nothing but condition assessment actually. What is the condition of the bridge? How many years back it is constructed? What are the joints? What are the bearings? Joints are being deteriorated, how the bearings are being deteriorated, what materials they made with, so what are the reasons for their deterioration. This is all comes under condition assessment. And NDT is actually to conduct the test with equipment at the location where you feel that there is a requirement. We will conduct the test there, and then we can extract the results, that is strength and quality, all this. So condition assessment is different from your NDT. Entirely different. They are not same. They are different.
Another question by Mr. Ayush Kalantri is asking, can ground penetrating radar be used to find the depth of different strata?
Yeah, definitely. For different strata, at a particular 2-meter depth, what is the condition of the soil? 4 meters depth, what is the condition of the soil? We can know at the different stratas. We can analyze the soil characteristics.
Another point that has been made by one of the participants is infrared, except Osmania University none using in field. It is evidently expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive, but I think civil aid people are using it. Civil aid. Okay, and some other IIT Hyderabad is also using. Yeah.
Ferro scanners are popular in site to find rebars while cutting cores. Another statement that has been made.
Sorry?
Just an opinion that has been made. That is, ferro scanners are popular in site to find rebars while cutting cores. Ferro scanners.
Yeah, that is also popular actually. Other ground, this one is corrosion analyzer equipment like that. Profometry is there. Profometry is more popular.
Yeah,
instrument.
we have got that profometer at our research center. We have got that for finding the corrosion, this thing and all. Studies on corrosion.
But alternative instruments are coming now. Profometry is older one. Older one.
That means there are so many instruments and so many results that are useful for interpretation. That is very interesting.
Yes.
And especially the case study which you showed in times of distress and all, this kind of interpretation will help us to come to the right decision.
Right decision, yes.
Another question is, what are the minimum and maximum dimensions of cores to be extracted?
Yeah, minimum dimension of the core is 50 millimeter. But code says it requires 75 millimeter. But normally our slabs will be 150 millimeter, 100 millimeter. So your minimum core recommended is 75 millimeter actually, so that we can get the results correctly. Less than 75 results we will not get properly, because if we have a IS 456 codal corrections where you need minimum 75 mm core size. Okay.
Another question by Engineer P. Srinivasa Reddy is very active. He has posed so many questions. One question is, can we use ultrasonic testing for pre-stressed structures?
Yeah, we can use, but one difficulty there is, your reinforcement is very, very congested actually. So, ultrasonic pulse velocity, you mean to say?
Yes. Can it be used for pre-stressed structures? That is.
Yeah, it can be used. We can use, because anyway that concrete is a ready mix concrete only, no? So you will not have pores and all. So quality you can assess for such structures, no problem.
I think, sir, you have answered all the major questions that were posed, and it was a very interactive session. The way you took the subject itself was so interesting, and it was there was no disturbances. The streaming went on very well, and your presentation and the way you delivered was really excellent. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of interest that would be generated amongst construction professionals. And in spite of your busy schedule, I'm sure that you would be taking online classes You have taken time for us, to speak to the working professionals, which is really, we are privileged to have that. And I'm sure that, this kind of interaction, this kind of presentations would really be memorable. And many of them would be taking a lot of ideas from this. In this pandemic, as you know, we will not be able to have face-to-face interaction, but this is the next best alternative that we have got, the webinar link. And I'm sure that, this kind of webinars will go a long way in enhancing our knowledge. And let's pray that, all of us come face-to-face, have some kind of meeting, some kind of discussion somewhere, which would further, enable us to have this kind of this thing, because we need to appreciate some of this tests to find out real this thing. So I think the objective has been served. Tomorrow we have a webinar at 11 a.m. by Dr. Manu Santanam from IIT Madras on blended cements. So that is tomorrow's is going to be the 30th webinar organized by Ramco Cements. So thank you so much, sir. And let me, before signing off, let me also thank our MACE managers, Engineer Ravi, Mr. Venkatesh Pulavarthi of our technical services, who is coordinating with you for the event. In fact, we have technical services manager located at various places, and they have been able to coordinate with the speakers, and we have been able to have this kind of talks. So let me thank the entire team for that, and our IT team, Mr. Karthikeyan, and our host, Mr. Suraj Kumar from Mangalore. They have been doing this thing on all the webinars to ensure that the message reaches all the construction professionals. So thank you so much, sir, Dr. Bhishma sir, for sparing your time, and we thank you for that, and all the best, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and I wish all the professional colleagues, friends, and engineers to in touch with our all friends, so that we can solve so many problems of our civil engineering fraternity. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very nicely, sir. Very beautifully put. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.